pointer. So, and we have seen that actually we need to use pointer when there is a concept called call by address. It means when we are calling a function and passing some arguments, if the arguments are in a form of address, then you have to store the addresses in a variable in the function. So to store the addresses in a variable, we need pointer variables. So actually, the meaning of pointer variable is a variable which can store the address of another variable. And we have seen that the type of pointer variable is actually depends on the address it stores. If it stores the address of one integer element, then the pointer type will be integer. If it stores the address of one float variable, then pointer type will be. And mathematically, from this thing, you can easily visualize that why uh, pointer and the address it is storing having the same data type, because this is simple statement where we are storing the address of one variable into a pointer variable. Now, if we perform or if we take star in both sides, now here star means obviously the star means what is the meaning of star operator? The meaning of star operator actually the meaning is value at the address. This is the meaning of pointer, value at the address. So if we take star in both sides, it will look like star p, and in this side star ampersand x. Now this ampersand is sometimes called reference because we are storing the address. Okay, so that's why this star having name dereference. Okay, so if we are performing one address operator and then we are using a dereference, since they are anti, and once I am taking the log and then I am taking the anti-log, so it will be means it becomes after this operation it becomes x itself. So it means star p is equivalent to x, and that is the main goal of pointer, that if I am able to store the address of one variable, then without going to that address, or without accessing that particular variable, we can access the value of the variable with a third variable, So that is the main goal of pointers. So if these two things are same, then the type of star p and the type of x must be equal. Otherwise, if it is suppose it is integer and it is float, then you can easily understood that these two are not matching. So that's why star p and x, they both have the same type. So that's why we have to declare the pointer like this, star p and one variable, normal variable as x. Now now if suppose I have declared one float variable, now try to understand why the type is not match in normal way, and I have one pointer integer. So from this equation we can easily see that this is not equal. But how to understand it physically? So suppose x is a float variable. So this is the x float variable. So what is the size of this variable? 4. Okay. Now suppose p is a pointer which is pointing to x. Suppose. Okay. Now p is a pointer which is pointing to x. Now, normally, if we perform p++, what is the meaning of p++? What is the meaning of pointer plus plus? The meaning of pointer plus plus is p will point will point the next this type, because p is already declared at integer, so p will point the next integer variable. You will point the next integer variable. But here the value of the, what is the type of x? X is 4 byte. So if p is pointing a float, then p plus plus should be, p will point to the next float variable. That is the logic. If I am performing p plus plus, then p should point to the next data. So what should be the next data? If x is in this position and let the starting address of x is 100, then where the next float will be? The next float will be 104. But since I have declared pointer as an integer, so it will increase by 2. So these two are not matching. And if you want to understand why these two are not matching, because if we are able to write this in this case, then we can write this also, correct? And see what is the type of this. We have declared it as integer, and what is the type we have declared it? It is a float. These two are not matching, so this is not possible. So that's why it is mandatory that if p is a pointer and x is one variable, then the type of the pointer must be same as the variable whose address will be stored in that pointer. This is mandatory. Now, if we follow this rule, then we can face one problem. What is the problem? See, suppose I have three different variables, integer x, I have one float y, and I have one character, say c. So I have, in my problem, I have three different variables. I have three different. I have three different variables. Now, if I want to store the address of these variables, then you can easily understood that we need how many different pointers? We need three different pointers. Why? Because pointer type and the address it is having, the variable's address it is having, they must have same type. So we need three different pointer variables. So let us assume this one star p, this one star q, this one star m. So now it means if we have say n number of different data types, then we need n number of different pointer variables to store the address. Is it clear? I think so. Now you can say, sir, there are only three types, no? One is integer. So basic three types, integer, float, character, but there are different user-defined data type also. User-defined data type, which is structure, union. So those are user-defined data type. So we can have different data types in our program. And to store the address of those variables, we need n number of pointer variables. So this is very, you can say it is a time consuming and space consuming method. So there is one solution for this. Instead of using different pointer variables, we can declare a single pointer variable with void type, void star p, and this is called the void pointer. This is called the void pointer. Okay. So why we are using void pointer? Because if we have n number of different data types, then to store the address of those variables, we required n number of different pointer variables. To solve that problem, we can have one single pointer which is able to store the address of different variables. See the picture. Means if I declared one void pointer star p and there are three different variables, one is integer x, another is float y, and another is character c, then this p can store the address of x. This is true. P can store the address of y. This is also true. And P can store the address of C. This is also true. Why? Because in this case, star P equal to X, where X is integer and P is void. It means P is not with any data type. According to the requirement, if X is integer, I can typecast it. I can typecast it. That's why it is declared as void pointer. That's why it is declared as void pointer, so that we can typecast it according to our choice. Otherwise, what we have to do, we have to declare n number of different pointer variables for n number of different data type variables. So to solve this problem, and those who have done, if you have done malloc-calloc, then you will know that malloc-calloc returned void pointer. Now why this void pointer? Because so that we can easily typecast it according to our choice. That's why it is void pointer. So this is called the void pointer. Now in case of void pointer, you can store the address of other variables, different variables. But the problem is you cannot use a void pointer simultaneously. Means having the address of X, I am only able to access the variable X, not Y. So simultaneously, so before accessing Y, we have to store the address of Y into P. Before accessing the C, we have to store the address of C into P. So we have to do this. And then only we can access it. But if we have three different variables and three different pointer variables, then it is very easy to access them. We can access them simultaneously, one after another. No problem. But if it is having only a void pointer, to minimize the space or minimize the complexity, because if there are n number of data type and you have used n number of pointer variables, then you have to remember which pointer name with which type of variable. So you have to remember this thing. But in this case, in this void pointer, you know that the pointer name is P. So using P, you can easily access. But in case of void pointer, there is one simple problem. The problem is, suppose this is a void pointer, void star P. There is one integer variable X and its value is 5. And your motto is to print the value of X using P. So that's why you have to do this. You have to store the address of X into P. Then you have to print the value. In normal case, how to print the value? I can print the value using star P. But since it is a void pointer and these two things are not matching, this side it is void and in this side it is integer, these two things are not matching. That's why the void pointer must be typecast first. Okay, although I have declared it as void star, first I have to typecast it in star. Why in star? Because I am storing the address of X into P. No problem in this line. I can store the address. There is no problem. Void pointer can store the address of any variable. But when we are trying to access the memory location, after getting the address, I will access the memory location. How to access? How to get the value at the address? Using star. So before putting star, first I have to typecast the pointer, then I have to use the star. So this is the limitation. This is one limitation that you have to remember in case of void pointer. You can store the address of any variable, but when you are trying to access the memory location to print the value, print the variable's value using star operator, then first you have to typecast. That is very important. That is very important. Now, those who have done malloc-calloc, they will see the before malloc-calloc, before writing malloc, we have to write it like this. Suppose it is for integer, then you have to write it int star. So this is the typecasting. This is very important. We will discuss about this malloc-calloc, which are called dynamic memory allocation, not like arrays, static memory allocation. So this is the use of void pointer. Okay. Now, in last class, we have seen that there is one thing called call by address. For that, we need to use pointer. And today we will discuss one simple problem. And the problem is like this. Find the maximum root. Find the maximum root of a quadratic equation. Okay. Find the maximum root of a quadratic equation. Now remember, in this problem, create a function and return the roots of a quadratic equation. Okay, then in main function, print the maximum root. So the problem exclusively defining that you have to create a function, and then return, you have to return the roots of the quadratic equation. So you have to create a function from where you have to return the roots of the quadratic equation. And we already know that the limitation of a function is it can return a single value. Function can return a single value. Okay, and roots of quadratic equation means there may be two different roots, x1, x2. If it is real. If it is a imaginary, then another step you have to perform. So considering it is real root, so there are two roots. So to return the roots from a single function, how can I do this? So we already know function can return a single value. And I have already told you that if you want to return, or if you want to get more than one value from a function, then you must have to go for pointer. Okay. Now just try to understand how to do this. How you can get two variables or two roots or two or more than two values from a function. Okay. So suppose this is my function, void root. So this is my function. So what should be the arguments in this function? These arguments are very important in this case. Now in case of quadratic equation, it is ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. This is the equation of the quadratic equation. Okay. Now in your main function, from user you have to take the value of a, then the value of b, and then the value of c. And then according to formula, the roots are, the first root will be like this, minus b plus square root of b square minus 4ac, this whole divided by 2 into a. And the next root x2 is minus b minus square root of b square minus 4ac whole divided by 2a. So these are the equation for the two roots. So these three variables must be three different arguments in this function. So they are integers. So int a, comma int b, comma int c. Okay. Now we need two roots. Okay, but we cannot return it from the function. So what we will do, we will, and this roots may be in float. This roots may be in float value. So what I will do, float star x1, comma float star x2. Is it clear? Is it clear? Because I need to return these two things, so I have considered them as pointer variables. So how to call the function? I will call the function from main after getting the value of a, b and c. I will call it like this: a, comma b, comma c, ampersand r1, comma ampersand r2. Okay, this is for one variable which will store the first root, and this is another variable which will store the second root, and I am passing them as address, call by address. So those values will be stored in this two statement. So this float star x will be converted to float star x1 is equal to ampersand r1. It means in main function there are two variable location, r1 and r2, r1 and r2. In this root function there are two variables, one is x1 and another is x2. Okay, if this thing is happening, then this x1 is pointing to r1 and this x2 is pointing to r2. That is a picture. Okay, then inside the function what we have to do, we have to first calculate, say float. First you have to calculate the value of, say, d, this difference, and square root. Okay, and then so it will be like this: d equal to sqrt. Okay, and this is b square minus 4ac. Okay, done. This thing. Okay, then the first root, so star x1 is equal to minus b plus d whole divided by 2 into a. Okay, done. Next one, x2 equal to minus b minus d whole divided by 2 into a. I'm writing in short. Okay, done. Now there may be one condition you can put here, that whether the value of d is equal to 0 or greater than 0 or less than 0. If the value of d is not value of d, this b square minus 4ac, the b square minus 4ac value, if this b square minus 4ac value is greater than 0, then only we can go for this. If it is equal to 0, then it should have only one root, that is minus b by 2a. If it is less than 0, then it is imaginary. It's imaginary roots. So you can add those part here also. Okay, so from main function we will only do this. So the main function will be like this: int main, then float, float, say r1, r2. Okay, then integer a comma b comma c, then printf, enter the values, okay, then scanf, %d, 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 then ampersand a, ampersand b, ampersand c. This is pretty simple. You know that you have to take this. Then you have to call the function root a comma b comma c. Then since we need these two values from the function, we need to return these two values from the function. So I will do this by passing as call by address. If we perform call by value, we have seen if we perform call by value, then what will happen? Changes will not reflect. Correct? আমি ফাংশনের মধ্যে যে চেঞ্জ গুলো করব সেটা রিফ্লেক্ট করবে না। But if it is a call by address, then changes will be reflected. That is the logic. Since we are performing call by address, so if we change anything in this two variable address, then we will able to see the values. So now what is the next? If r1 greater than r2, printf %f r1, else printf %f r2. So this is your whole program. Now see, in this case, in this program, we need two values from a function, but we are not able to return more than one value from a function. That's why how we are solving it? We are solving it by performing call by address, and when we are passing address, we have to store the address in third variable, so we require pointer variables. Okay. Now, if you remember in the last class, I have discussed something that is called pointer arithmetic. We have discussed that pointer arithmetic. Okay. Now, this pointer arithmetic is totally different from normal arithmetic. If x is one integer variable with 5 value and p is one pointer variable having the address of x, and let the address value is 100, then if we perform x plus plus, I will get x equal to x plus 1, and then the final value of x becomes 6. Clear? But if it is a pointer variable, it is having the address 100, then if we perform this, the equation is same, p plus 1, but it will be converted to p equal to p plus 1 into size of int. Here, since p is integer, so size of int. So it becomes p becomes 100, first value 100 plus, say if the size of integer is 2, so it becomes 2, so it becomes 102. Instead of 101, which is the normal arithmetic, if it is 100 and normal arithmetic, you are performing 100 plus 1 is always 101, but it is 102. How we are getting 102? Because p is pointing to one integer variable. If we increase, it will point next integer. That is the logic. If we increase a pointer which is pointing to float variable, if we increase, it will point to the next float. And what will be the position of the next float or next integer? It depends on size of the integer and float. If the size of integer is 2, then the next integer will be after 2 bytes. If the size of the float is 4, then the next float will be after 4 bytes. So you have to, according to that, you have to add the value. Why you have to add the address or size? Because P is a pointer which is pointing to some address. That's why, according to that, we have to increase the pointer. Now, this is called pointer arithmetic, this type of operation. So now in pointer arithmetic, what are valid and what are not, just try to understand. Suppose we have two pointer variables star P star Q. Okay. And now I am writing some pointer operation, sorry, arithmetic operation. Now you have to tell me which are valid, which are not. From your idea, just try to understand that which are valid and which are not. I am writing some statements. P minus Q, then suppose P plus 2, okay. Then suppose 5, I am writing P greater than Q, okay. Then suppose I am writing P divided by Q, okay. Then suppose I am writing P modular division Q. Then suppose I am writing P P right shift operator 2. So if I write this type of statement, and if I ask which are valid and which are not valid, then what should be your answer? Please give me your answer. Is this one valid? Now remember, these two are two pointer variables. It means what are inside the pointer variables? Inside the pointer variables, there are some address of other two variables. Suppose there are two variables X and Y. This P is pointing to this, Q is pointing to this. The address of this X is say 100 and this one 102. So the values are like this 100, 102. And the address of these two pointer variables, they are different. 200 and say 200. Okay. Now tell me that which of these statements are valid and which we can write and which we cannot write. Just please tell me. Is it valid? Can we write? Can we multiply two pointer variables? But we can multiply two normal variables. But can we multiply two pointer variables? Please, anyone? Run it. Bolo. Can we multiply? Anyone, please. Can we multiply two pointer variables? Please unmute yourself and give me the answer. Can we multiply two pointer variables? We can multiply two pointer variables. Okay. Then next, can we add two pointer variables?
No.
Then why we can multiply? Because multiplication is repetitive addition, no?
Yes.
Then if you are telling me that we can multiply but we cannot add, why? Why you are saying this? See, what is the value in P? It is one address. What is the value in Q? It is another address. What I will get if I multiply two addresses? Is it any information, valid information for me? Multiplication of two address, is it any valid information to me? No. So this is illegal, not possible. Similarly, this is also illegal. If I want to divide, so this is one address, I am dividing this address with another address. Again, it is meaningless. I will get nothing by dividing one address with another address. So this is again illegal. This one, reminder, illegal.
Why is plus illegal?
my question is, if I add two address, what I will get? What information I will get? Is it any meaningful information? Suppose তোমার বাড়ির অ্যাড্রেস আমার বাড়ির অ্যাড্রেস আমি অ্যাড করলাম, নিয়ে সেটা কি কোনো মিনিং হবে? Is there any meaning?
No, but suppose I have two addresses which have a number যেটা conveniently add করলে একটা আরেকটা address দেয়. So will it not be,
না,
you know, direct?
সেটা ধরো আমার 100 আছে আর 100. Suppose I have two addresses, 100 and 102. If I add these two, I will get 202. Now, whenever I am writing a function, suppose main, inside main I am writing, remember my compiler will allocate some memory in the stack. In stack, my compiler will allocate some memory, and this is not a huge memory. It depends on how many variables I am declaring. So if I declare only 3 variables, so it will only allocate, suppose integer variables, so it will only allocate say 100. 3 variables means only 6 bytes. So if the address start from 100, it will go up to 106. Am I clear? What is the size of
Yes.
your memory? Now, is there any meaning for 202 in this address?
No, then so it's
Very clear.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Now, only 1 minute left, so please rejoin. Okay, if disconnected, please rejoin. Then again, this division having no meaning. What I will get if I divide? Similarly, remainder, no meaning. Now, this one, please tell me, this one, is it meaningful? Adding some